What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com here. It is October 24th. We have SmackDown Live to talk about. Head over to Fightful.com. All your photos, news, videos, podcasts, exclusives, forums across MMA, pro wrestling, and boxing. We are joined by Anna Bauert, giggling. What is going on?
I heard a beep, and then I saw Jeff's reaction, and then yeah,
Jeff,
it's riveting.
What are you reacting to? Jeff Hawkins.
That beep, that very supersonic beep going into my ear. That's what I was reacting to.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. We got SmackDown to talk about, though. Shane McMahon comes out. This comes after the siege. But before we get into that, Jeff, I just want you to realize how completely wrong you are on the Asuka situation, to the point to where we're just going to talk about SmackDown. Anyway, Shane McMahon comes out, describes the siege, and says that he realized what he was going to do when AJ Styles was asked to come over to Raw. Jeff, what do you think about how they framed this, or maybe just half-assed like framing of it that I've seen, but
between everybody's stupid takes on Asuka, yours and Rob's especially, and and this story, I was despondent until Daniel Bryan was mad at Shane, because I thought it was ridiculous for a show with this much goodwill to go in and invade without any proper provocation. I thought it was dumb to have baby faces leading the charge as opposed to heels if you're going to do it that way, especially guys like the New Day and Shane, who are likable. I need a reason for people to invade other than Survivor Series. That's my thing. And up until the Daniel Bryan part, I was having an issue with it. It seems like now there's at least a little bit of depth to it, rather than, say, as I put it, eschewing all face-heel dynamics and Baron Corbin no longer being a lone wolf because he gets a T-shirt. You know, I needed
to the point to where they have to reference it in an angle.
Yeah.
He's got a wolf pack. They did the blood pact and everything.
Anna, what did you think of the siege on Raw last night, and just the sense or lack of sense that it made?
Initially, it was a really cool shot to see them all coming down the Shield entrance and doing all that, but then it just instantly turned into, like, they went from last year being the underdogs to this year being the Manson family. It was really strange with no explanation, and now you kind of have to look at the SmackDown roster as the heels, because there was no real incentive to go and do this. And the way that Kurt reacted and everything, it was just, okay, so now it's good team versus bad team. And I don't know, I just look at Shane now during this entire segment, and then with Sami coming out, and then in my head trying to rewire, okay, Shane is the good guy again in this situation, yet after last night, how are we supposed to accept that? It's just
Yeah, there was a moment last year during this build that encapsulates everything I thought about that, and that was when, during a women's match, there was like a 4-on-1 beatdown by the Raw women, and Bayley joined in on it.
Yeah.
And when she still had all that goodwill as a babyface, and I'm like, oh, look, an entire roster of Baileys coming down here to ruin everything good about them.
Yeah, that was rough. Sami Zayn comes out, does this sarcastic dancing. It is at its peak here as he dances in Shane's face. To me, I think that the introduction of money in wrestling would go a long way in this. Hey, Vince McMahon made us give you AJ Styles. I didn't want to. And as a result, maybe say that it affected things for SmackDown. It affected the rest of the people's money because AJ is a marquee player. They never do that, though. Vince McMahon really loves for his wrestlers to be portrayed as above worrying about money, which kind of takes a lot of the steam out of professional fighting or guys pretending to be professional fighters. That's why when William Regal, I did a little news report video on this today, he talked about the wrestlers who complain about having cold matches. And he pointed at Styles versus Balor as an example. And I was like, not exactly the same thing. They have a lot of history, albeit not together. They are over. They have that. You can't just, like, two guys in WWE can't go out and say, well, we're battling to see who gets to eat tonight, because Vince McMahon won't let them say that. Like, that, it just won't happen. Jeff, anything to that? I mean, going to the pay window was a thing back in the day.
Yeah, and, you know, it speaks to kind of the framing of this show and a lot of these matches is that everybody is so in love with working with WWE that everything becomes about the office politics within. I mean, this is basically the accounting department and human resources department having beef with one another. And you're fighting who gets to captain a team that's going to be full of people who are the people that are going to be on the team. It's not like Alicia Fox is going to pick a team of random stuff, which was one of my better tweets tonight. You know, like
I expected Dolph Ziggler to unleash a looks like somebody's got a case of the Mondays line.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where everything revolves around this world that they've built for themselves, and you know, I agree, but then again, I also want more heat in promos, and I want, you know, to believe that people don't like each other, so we don't get any of that. Everybody works for this company, everybody's happy to work for this company, and everybody's happy to represent the brands that they're on.
Anna, can you give me a solid 20 seconds about Shane McMahon's breathing pattern?
Not really something I was focused on. Right?
I'm going to set our team for SmackDown. I was like, bro, what are you doing?
Maybe he's just passionate. I don't know. I was more hung up on the fact that he was trying to blame Sami for, okay, yeah, he pulled Kevin Owens out of the way to save him. But no one forced you to climb up that high, Shane. No one forced you to jump. That's on you. He is as much of a face as Rusev is a heel in this situation. It's ridiculous.
I love that line making absolutely no sense. That, wow, if you think Kevin Owens got hurt, what do you think that fall did to me?
Yeah.
Like, you're the dumbass who climbed up there, you fool.
I think we have a new shirt. In addition to you have opinionated wrongfully, I think, you mean my actions have consequences? Is the new shirt.
Everyone in the world needs to get that shirt.
Sami says that he and KO have molded over and they will join Team SmackDown, but Shane reveals he'll have to beat Randy Orton for a spot on the team. Zayn is a really fun heel. I'm liking him more and more. I questioned how it would work because he was so wholesome and so likable as a babyface, but he's knocking it out of the park, Anna.
Mm-hmm. I'm beyond happy with this. It's just I want a wind-up toy version of a skanking Sami just to go around my desk. It's Christmas this year.
Sami invading personal space of Shane McMahon doing the dancing is everything to me. And the fact that guys are corpsing being in the ring with him because he's so damn entertaining is just one of those things that I enjoy watching. He is great at this role.
He's phenomenal at it. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin defeated New Day. Usos were on commentary, and they were fantastic, especially in pronunciating. Shelton Benjamin's name. There was a high point in this match, and it's where Big E reached deep into his, I guess a Big D, and grabbed Bootios and dumped them on Kofi's face to revive him. Jeff?
Well, I have some cinnamon toast crunch in my pants if you want some. It just I
bought a box of cinnamon toast crunch last week.
That popped me. I wasn't as big on the Usos on commentary. I thought they had their moments, but it was just they were running bits in the ground. It was kind of like they couldn't tell whether they wanted to focus on the match or on the.
That's all right. You're wrong a lot this week.
All right, fine. No, just go ahead. Talk to Anna.
Anna, they re-showed one of the worst segments of the year.
Yeah.
In that backstage Shelton and Gable thing. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, I'm like, are you trying to get these guys over, or are you trying to kill them in the like it? I don't know. Do you think maybe they're just trying to establish Gable and Benjamin as the assholes here?
I think so, and I think that they have absolutely no idea how it actually came across last week. I will give a shout out to the Usos for bringing up that Gable went straight after Jordan last night. And I think that's enough to get anyone over as a bad guy. Also, shout out to whichever one of them, after Cole said the Jolly Rancher keep on sucking line, you just heard one of them in the background going, what? That just sums it up, really.
It's been a thing for years, but it's just now crossing over into WWE, I guess. I've seen that
weird
on WWE commercials for years, though.
It's just weird. And then, there's also the line, we've already beat American Alpha before.
Yeah. They call them the sequel. There's a lot of really good offense in this match. There was this Kofi Shelton monkey flip spot where both of them landed on their feet. Xavier Woods' drop kick up against the ropes. Gable hit a rolling kick, which I haven't seen in a while, out of nowhere. American Alpha 2 with a hip toss into a neck breaker. This is a rare WWE like SmackDown Raw tag team match that isn't paint by numbers. It wasn't formulaic. It was just a lot of back and forth. Benjamin kicks Woods in the back of the head to help Gable get the win, but they played up as a big cheating thing. But in the grand scope of things, Jeff, I'm like, whatever. It's not that bad.
It's not bad, but it's a bit confusing. Because are they doing a thing where Gable's a face and Benjamin's a heel here? That's what I'm wondering, because the Usos are probably going to be, or have they turned the Usos? That's my question. Have we got a double turn here?
If they're doing that, they should have awkwardly had Chad Gable shake one of the Usos' hands while Shelton didn't, and the other one, and they all just stand around like, wrong page.
But you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit frustrating to know kind of, how we're supposed to feel about the Usos versus how we're supposed to feel about Gable and Jordan.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Gable and
it seemed like they went out of their way to be baby faces tonight on commentary, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also respect all these guys, Anna.
Yeah, well, with the promo last week as well with New Day, week before, I remember whenever it was, they've definitely done something. I don't think that it's a split in Gable Benjamin. I think it's just straight up. I mean, how can you confuse the shit that was coming out of Gable's mouth as being heel?
That's true.
Like,
I would love a babyface and a heel duo that got along, like the old Sting and Luger at times. Like, I thought that was really great. And Sting would sometimes be apologetic about Luger being a douchebag, and I love that dynamic. I thought it was really good. Benjamin gets the win, but the Bootios stole that match. Also, I noted that Shelton's knees and kicks kind of little rough at times. Like, these guys are probably feeling them. Backstage, 6 of the women from SmackDown are hanging out. Carmella is looking for Ellsworth. He's not on his chain. And I put in my notes, I hope Breezango are the search team. It ended up being much better than that. So Daniel Bryan books a fatal 5-way match. And Lana's like, oh, no, there are 6 of us. And he's like, yeah, I know. I know there are. You're not in the match. The 5 others will compete to become captain of the Survivor Series team. We'll lead that right into Fashion Dogs. Now, I just want to start by saying Reservoir Dogs, also an overrated piece of shit. Breezango and the Ascension caught Ellsworth and are asking about the briefcase. Connor is back there drinking gas. Now, Jeff, this is about a decade after Connor failed a wellness test. You can't say that he's not on the gas.
No, well played. But you're wrong about Reservoir Dogs. It's a great film.
It was duty. Carmella shows up. I love that she jumped into this as well because I didn't expect that. I just thought she would kind of have nothing to do with it. And they open up her briefcase and they find Ellsworth's underpants.
Soiled underpants.
His duty britches. Anna,
I'm torn. Hold on, before you go, I'm torn on the line, and you two can talk about this in a sec. I'm torn on the line. I'm not part of your stupid sketch. I like it, but at the same time,
I love it.
I like it, but at the same time, it's calling out just how dumb all this is. So I don't know.
They've referred to that before, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, come on now. Ascension knows that Bludgeon Brothers are behind everything. Anna, what kind of integration do you see Ascension having in Breezango Bludgeon Brothers? Because that's obviously what we're getting. And it's funny because it was suspected on this very show so long ago that it was Harper and Rowan, that after so long we were like, oh, well, to hell with that. It ain't going to be them anymore.
I put it in the last most ridiculous that was the thing.
Was that was like in August or July?
Yeah, it was the SummerSlam. I was all for it until they started with the Bludgeon Brothers thing. And now it's just, they're setting them up to fail with this gimmick straight away by putting them with Breezango, because it's just, if you're trying to set up the Bludgeon Brothers as these serious, destruction gods kind of thing, you just can't put them with Breezango with a comedy team. It's just like, choose what you want them to be. But hey, the Bean Brothers is silent, so maybe that's the key to all of this.
Jeff, were there any Easter eggs here that perhaps I missed because I think that movie sucked? No,
because I didn't care for this one this week. I don't think it went hard enough into it, really. But you're allowed a mulligan, and this is it.
I love the idea of the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know how I like them in execution. Anna, what do you think their giant hammers are going to be made out of? And how do you think they're going to be baby faces? Do you think they're going to be heels? They could sell a lot of those. Like
they should do this correctly, and it's serious and can do a lot of damage. But I'm picturing ones that you get at the carnival that blow up and make a noise when you hit them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they were feuding months ago, I thought to myself, this is such an easy story to tell, them reuniting. They beat the crap out of each other in a 10-minute hardcore match. They embrace afterwards because they're crazy. That's what they do. They're like, okay, that was fun. Let's team up again. And I'm pretty sure most everybody would have just been like, okay, that's fine. Jeff, have you jumped on board the Bludgeon train yet?
No. I'm gonna wait to see. I'm gonna wait to see what they do with them. Maybe they debut them with a 15-minute back and forth against the Colognes. Really established. Cool. That they can put on a good match, get people behind them.
Neato.
Have you go crazy over the great output over it, as opposed to making
it's a great match. Then I probably will.
I'm sorry, Anna. The boys are fighting.
Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon are discussing the siege backstage on Raw. Daniel Bryan didn't know what was happening, and he was not happy about it. Anna, did you think this was going to be the direction they took with it, or did you think that maybe Daniel Bryan was going to have something to do with it? There were angles that they could take, but what did you think?
I'm glad that they went this direction with it. They could have easily gone with Daniel Bryan was in on it, but I think that's kind of counter to the character that they presented the last few months. It's going to be interesting to see if they actually do anything, what his involvement is going to be in this feud, especially if they go ahead with Angle versus Shane. I just bet that Daniel Bryan is chomping at the bit to get involved in this and in the ring, and who knows, maybe he'll turn up and destroy them all once he's finally cleared in his own mind.
I think they should have played it up. I think they should have played up that was part of the disdain for Raw, is that Daniel Bryan has been trying to get cleared and he can't. And just at the drop of a hat, your guys were irresponsible and drank a bunch of orange juice after each other, and now everybody's got the goddamn mumps and all, and now Kurt Angle can wrestle? What the hell's up with that?
But this is the thing with WWE. They sometimes use real life stuff in their stories, and it works really well when they do it. But it's like with the money thing. For some reason, they're scared to integrate any of that kind of stuff, and it's just bizarre because we know what's going on backstage. We know Neville walked out. We know about the sickness and everything like that. So I don't know why they still decide to keep those things separate when it's just like, this would make for a much better story if you just did it.
If Shane McMahon dropped the line that your guys are getting sick, your guys are walking off the show, and you had to come get one of my guys, like just something, just add a little something. Maybe they will. I don't know. But Jeff, did this segment add anything to you? I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier.
Oh, it absolutely saved this entire program because it gave some sort of logic to it, which I loved. I'm interested in what they're doing with Daniel Bryan here as a player, because I could see him losing faith in Shane McMahon's type of, blinders on in terms of hatred for Raw and somehow ending up on Raw. Maybe, I don't know, but I could see this at least turning into a schism between Daniel Bryan and Shane. And I really don't want one heel and one face as management. I'm hoping that's not the direction, but it feels like it is.
I don't want any heels as management anymore. It's played out. It needs to take a good 5-year break. It was the thing for so long. John Laurinaitis and Vicky Guerrero and the Authority and Brad Maddox and just Vince even over and over and over and over again. I don't want it. I don't need it. Corporate Kane, everybody, they did it to death. And I'm not saying the show is great every week, but it goes a little bit smoother when they don't have a person on the show who is storyline acting opposed to the best interest of the show they're supposed to be running. So
yeah, it's nice. You need management that you like, and also you just need them to be non-player characters and just have them be there for flow rather than for actual angles, in my opinion.
Be competent. Dolph Ziggler cuts a promo backstage. Rude shows up. They reference being on the same side last night. They're going to have a 2 out of 3 falls match next week. And it's going to be a qualifying match. I love that they added stakes to this. Jeff, I would think that Bobby Roode's going to win this match. What do you think about them booking this and the added stakes?
You know why they did that they did a lot of the explanation about being on the same team, right? Did you see that today? Wade Keller got involved, and Dolph and I think it was Joey Ryan just absolutely excoriated Wade Keller on this whole thing. Yeah. You know what? They do fine matches. The stakes are fine. I don't, what does it solve if Bobby Roode wins it though? That's, are we going to actually move on, or are we just going to continue going back and forth? That's the thing I'm wondering. I don't mind these two all that much. I just didn't like the segment all that much. I like them in the ring together though.
Anna?
Yeah, I'm glad that they added a reason to have this match. It's just that's as much of an explanation as we've had pretty much for this entire feud. It's just not based on a lot, and props to Renee for acting interested for that entire segment, because I wasn't.
Yeah, as I look at Joey Ryan's tweets, he referenced Batman versus Superman, All-Star games, things like that. It does happen. Now, granted, they're not beating the crap out of each other at the All-Star games and things like that. But yeah, I don't think it's completely out of reach. I just think there needs to be a solid explanation other than we have the same shirts.
But that's a problem that runs for that entire roster doing that run-in, not just these guys. And that goes back to, as well as having a neutral or at least a likable commissioner or general manager that's on the side of the roster. Because as it currently stands, it's like, well, why would all of them jump on board? They must have just drank a lot of Kool-Aid. That's the only real explanation for this. And if they go with that, then cool, but they aren't. And it's just kind of random.
Oh, I hope not, because they kind of did that for the invasion angle of when WCW and ECW. Oh, they're drinking Paul Heyman's Kool-Aid.
It was hilarious.
No, I mean like literally drinking Kool-Aid. That's what I want.
I just want to say it was hilarious to hear. It's always hilarious to hear Booker T. He's phenomenal. I really enjoy him on commentary.
Oh, you're so wrong.
I love him. Corey Graves couldn't keep it together last night because for whatever reason, like I don't think it's a directive. I need to find out. But Booker T hates Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan. Like he hates them. And when Jason Jordan charged the barricade last night and got hit with a guitar, he's like, "That's what he deserves." He was doing illegal tactics, and Corey Graves is like, he was running at ringside. Like he didn't do anything. Like Corey Graves couldn't keep it together. But my favorite was Booker T, who was a part of the WCW invasion, part of the invasion on ECW One Night Stand, part of several interpromotional matchups, acted like this was the first time he had ever seen an invasion ever happen. It was magnificent. Jeff, you are objectively wrong. You have opinionated wrongfully.
My favorite part of any Angle and Corey Graves interaction was when Graves looks at him and goes, "Oh, so Stevie Ray should take credit for everything your team did," and Booker just had no comeback whatsoever.
Booker T's Stevie Ray's got a nice podcast going right now. Do you ever see that stuff?
No.
He's got a nice one. I assign stories to my.
So
what is it?
Yeah. I say I like him personally, so I'll have to seek that out.
Yeah, I assign stories from it. Like occasionally Title Match Wrestling will put out like little clips and stuff, and I'll assign them to my guys to transcribe and run his stories. Really, really good stuff out of Stevie Ray. Like he's not like deluded or anything about his talent level or what he got, what he didn't get. That's definitely one I recommend. It's
such a weird broadcasting dynamic though, because it's like Corey and Michael have, we have the storylines, we know what we're going to say, we're on the same page, and then you bring in Booker as if he hasn't watched any of the product, and he just says whatever comes to his mind at that time based on who he personally likes and hates, and he's just trying to be entertaining, and the other two are just like, okay, we have to respond to this somehow, and it can either spiral out of control or it can be very amusing. It's feast or famine for me for Booker, but
I love that though, given the controlling nature behind the scenes at Raw in particular. This is just a bright little spark that could go either way, but it's entertaining as hell no matter what.
When it's entertaining, it's very entertaining.
It could have been Otunga.
Don't get me wrong. When it's entertaining, it's very entertaining. When it starts to get a little bit where Booker wants to win the argument, it starts to distract from the match, and it starts to kind of devolve into getting into one-upsmanship, and it's not good. So
I usually despise those people that are like, "LOL, I love chaos," but as it pertains to a WWE announce booth, all for it. It needs it. WWE apparently remembered that Sin Cara was on the roster. He can get like some videos here and there, and he beat Baron Corbin again via DQ. Corbin is becoming a really good brawler, really liking that. Sin Cara doesn't do anything like too spectacular, but his offense that he hits is just fine. He gets his ass kicked real proper, and Corbin gets DQ'd. End of days outside the ring. Anna, where do you see this going?
Oh, continuing on, I'm sure, but they're not going to give it to Sin Cara. They're just not.
Do you think they'll go through with a Miz Baron Corbin match at Survivor Series?
I kind of hope they do, to be honest.
Miz would be a huge babyface.
Yeah, I think they would work really well off each other. They both have the mouths for it. I think the in-ring as well. It's two different styles, but I think it could work really well together. This match was fine. I just felt like there was a lot of Corbin waiting around for Sin Cara to do his stuff.
Yeah.
And Sin Cara did those 2 suicide dives, and that definitely did more damage to him than Corbin. But at least we got to see an end of days, and I kind of felt like, fine for a DQ finish, but it didn't really feel like enough to warrant the bell ringing, considering all the other stuff that we see from other matches.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
Randy Orton slammed a guy on the announce table.
Yeah.
If I'm a WWE agent, I'm telling people to stop doing suicide dives so often, and I'm telling Naomi to stop throwing those ugly ass kicks. Jeff, anything that you want to add to this situation, this little TV program?
Number one, Rusev won this match with the tweet, maybe Corbin can start wrestling in a hat. I liked that. That was kind of savage. I don't.
He said that grumpy Rusev hacked his account.
Yeah. I think it kind of proves the theorem that you can't just heat up a guy after you've killed him for so long. And Sin Cara is just a guy that the crowd, this Milwaukee crowd was chanting one more time for the end of days on the outside.
It's a cool move.
That's problematic to me. It's a cool move, but you're not supposed to do that as a crowd. I'm sorry. It's because we don't give a crap about Sin Cara. So
no. It's far too often throughout the runs of Sin Cara. Sin Cara hasn't cared enough about Sin Cara, and that's been the problem. So, okay. I mean, it's how are we supposed to? His highlight is literally going through a ladder at ringside. Like, that's my standout memory of Sin Cara, and I can't even remember which one it was.
I think it was the other one.
There you go. AJ Styles defeated Sunil Singh. Jinder Mahal cuts a promo saying exactly what you think it would. His entrance is growing on me, though. I really like it. He gets ejected with the quickness. So, Jeff, dozens of Mahal matches, and the Singh brothers haven't been ejected yet. One Singh match, and Jinder Mahal is ejected.
Yeah,
make sense of this for me, can you?
Well, they wanted to, clear out any interference so AJ could get the clean win. This is kind of how Asuka should have been debuted.
Cool.
No, I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this. For God's sake, it's just what they do. I don't understand the framing of this entire thing.
I want to put over Sunil Singh for getting the little things, like
he's great.
When you're in there to get crushed and you bump off of a guy's like first strike that he throws. It's that. Like, a lot of people, I remember Road Dogg saying in an interview, people would always put over his punch. He says, well, that's because I asked people to bump off of it. And if they wouldn't do it, I didn't throw it. So, I mean, if you protect it like that, then it goes a long way, and he did that. Calf crusher, victory. Jinder Mahal is mad backstage and books the other Singh brother against Styles next week. Anna, do you think he will do any better?
No, not at all. Okay. Those guys deserve at least a Slammy at the end of the year for the effort that they're putting into this. They are, for a very quickly sinking ship that is Jinder Mahal, they are the two lifeboats that are trying to keep everything going. And it just, with the ref thing, I screamed at the TV, like, where the hell has this guy been for the past few months? And it makes all the other refs, even if he was a ref in the past that let it slide, but it makes all the other refs look like dumbasses for not jumping on this straight away. And I just want to give a shout out to Paul Heyman's promo last night, because that was on the money and made my heart sing.
Did he tell the other Singh brother to shut up at the end of that thing, or was that just a word I didn't hear in context correctly?
I must have missed it if he did, but
okay.
So up next, Becky Lynch defeated Carmella, Tamina, Charlotte, and Naomi. Having Michael Cole in commentary means that we hear, it's glow time. It's a real son of a bitch thing to say. Natalya joins to gloat before the match. I will say this. I don't know that Tamina has ever looked better in the ring than in this match, and they hide her in multi-person matches an awful lot, but she didn't mess up anything. So that's good. Naomi's kicks suck. Charlotte hits the saddest fall-away slam ever on Tamina. And then Becky follows with what I considered the most anticlimactic forearm off of the apron ever. I was like, what's she going to do? What's she going to do? Oh. But then Naomi flies over the top rope. Hits a really nice slingshot body press. Charlotte slings her into the barricade. Naomi takes a really disgusting bump into the ring post. Like, she went the extra mile to just dive her entire face, shoulder, and body into the ring post. Carmella hits about the 74th super kick of the match. Becky wins with a disarm her on Carmella. I like this match. I thought it was pretty good. There were some rough spots and stuff, but when you've got that many people in one match, that's going to happen. Anna, what do you think about the match? And how prestigious is it to be the SmackDown captain for Survivor Series?
But what does that even mean? Okay, Becky did deserve the spot given the gusto in which she invaded and attacked the Raw roster last night. But this match, I don't know if I missed a bunch of it because of the ad break. It came back to Tamina just like falling on Carmella at ringside. But it seemed pretty messy. And maybe it was, I don't know, it was just too much chaos without a lot of through line for me anyway. And it was just another case, okay, cool, we actually have a reason to have all the women in the ring again. But not again, because this is the first time we actually have a reason that all the women are competing in the ring. But it's the same match that we get pretty much every single week. Just, I don't know. I'm saying the same shit as every single week now because they do the same stuff every week. But good on Becky. That's cool.
Jeff, do we see Charlotte beat Natalya for this title before Survivor Series?
Yes.
I think so too. I think that Charlotte, Alexa Bliss makes too much sense to not do.
It's also in the advertising. It's the video thing when they were showing like the different people who'd be going up against each other. It's Charlotte and Alexa, I believe, were the ones that were hyped. So I think she wins before that. Completely 100% agree with Anna's point about Becky Lynch and the gusto. She always shows the most energy being phony bravado in these fights, both here and during the Mae Young Classic when they were doing that entire horsewomen's thing. And as Anna reminded me on Twitter, Natty is a heart, apparently. I was not aware of that. Yeah.
She's the best heart, apparently.
I don't think much of these multi-women clusters because they've done them so much that I don't care about them anymore. I agree.
They've done this all summer, like almost as far back as spring, trying to keep everybody relevant on the show. And
well, good stories.
Maybe it's a good thing because then if one of them faces Asuka and lasts longer than 4 minutes, Jeff won't cry about it.
Well, that's not the point. Tamina, I have no problems with Tamina like you, who just go around trashing her all the time.
She's not good. She's not a good wrestler.
And I think, I think we're getting Tamina on one side and Nia on another for a stare down eventually.
Oh boy, we sure are. Could you imagine the bumps that will not be taken in that face-off? Oh, 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot clear up in the air, back flat. That's how that bump's going for either one of them. Randy Orton defeated Sami Zayn. Sami lands some really stiff strikes, to which Orton replies with a really, really loud one that Corey Graves seemed to rather enjoy. Orton plays the hits until he throws Zayn into the announcing table, and there's a quote, "Very few things are off limit when Randy Orton is involved. We've learned that over the years." To which I thought, have we ever? Like, nothing is off limits for Randy Orton, except for talking to the crowd. That's the one thing he gets called out for backstage nowadays. You had to know that Orton was not taking that corner exploder suplex, Jeff. But then he turned it around and just heaved Zayn over his head for his own. I like that.
I thought Sami's selling in this match was amazing.
It was great.
The selling heel stuff where he's kind of being exaggerated with every punch was great. Kudos to the production team who always seem to do this well once every so often in terms of getting those little moments. The moment where Sami's playfully chopping and just kind of egging Randy on, and Randy gets that kind of small smile on his face. The tight shot on that was fantastic, I thought. I enjoyed this match. I thought Randy came to play, and I think both of them beat the crap out of each other, which I always enjoy.
I love this match. I thought it was really good. Zayn busts out the torpedo DDT. I'm always a big fan of that. Owens tries to interfere. The ref turns around, and Orton punches Sami Zayn right in the nuts. RKO win. Good stuff. Anna, any thoughts on this match and Orton being added to Team Survivor Series?
I love this match. I thought it was a lot of fun, and they had some awesome looking moves in there. Sami doing the moonsault from the barricade, and then Orton blocking the moonsault from the announce table and just smashing him, which makes sense given Orton's dislike for diving. And it also, this is the second week in a row that Orton he looked like he had fun, and it was a good match, and he was enjoyable to watch. And it just, I don't know what's going on for the guy, but it seems like that's been missing for the past few months. And so it's great to see that it's finally back. Very interested to see how it plays out with Sami, and especially if KO, I probably won't get onto the SmackDown team given who he's up against. But I would love it if they just either defected to Raw or came up with their own little division for Survivor Series. It would be awesome if it was Team Raw, Team SmackDown Live, Team Best Friend Canadian Destroyers, and then just Team Braun by himself. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Wish we could get a 5-on-5, like a cruiserweight battle. That way we could throw the Singhs on a... I want the Singhs.
Team Cruiserweight, Team NXT, Team UK division. I'd be for that.
There's a lot of stuff they could do. Well, I think NXT's got a big enough show the night before. That one's going to be huge. That might be show of the year, in my opinion. That show has some really good-looking stuff on it. So, Jeff, you mentioned that you think that Charlotte is beating Natalya for this title.
Mm-hmm.
Does Natalya then go to Team Survivor Series?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Unless they put Lana on.
Well, what I would do, your boy, Paige is cleared. She's good to go. Have Natalya say, well, now I want to be on the team. I want to be the captain. And Daniel Bryan's like, no, we got some reimbursement for AJ Styles' appearance on WWE TLC. Just bring Paige over. She's good to go. She wants to wrestle real bad. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how she's going to look. I don't know how she's going to do. Not a lot of experience with women's wrestlers in their early 20s coming off of neck surgery. So we don't know how she can perform at this stage. But I think putting her in that kind of match is a nice way to dip your toes in the water. And if it doesn't work out, it's not so important that you can't just not bring her back.
I like the idea. I just think she might end up on the Raw team.
Of course you do. I'm full of great ideas, and I'm usually right. Anna, is there anything else you're looking at? What else do you see getting added to this Survivor Series show?
I think there's still a lot of gaps to fill in. And, I mean, even setting up Angle announcing his team last night to be stopped, that also makes me think, well, Sami and KO could possibly defect because nothing has actually been announced yet. And as Cole kept reiterating through a couple of the matches, especially the tag team match, oh, but Usos, you might not actually be facing, you might not actually be the ones facing Shield, which I hope they fucking know. But there is a lot of changes that could still be made, and some matches that the changes should definitely happen. But I think it's too early to say. There's still a lot to get through.
Jeff, the stage is yours. Talk about Asuka.
Really? Okay. Look, I don't. You and Rob are in the minority here on this debut.
What's wrong with being a minority? There's something wrong with that? Jeff?
I'm giving that one time to breathe.
You gonna attack me for that reason?
I'm just...
Is that what you do?
I just think you need to make a better impression after... God, I'm trying to move on to this, and it's just going to anger me if I do.
Go ahead.
You do these vignettes, And you go, this person is special. She means something. You talk her up on the commentary. This person is special. She means something. You bring her out there for a debut and she has a good match. No, that doesn't get people excited to see her again. That's not star making if that's your point. If it's not, that's fine. Then don't talk her up as being a killer. Don't talk her up on commentary. Oh, Booker, this is the woman with the best strikes on the roster, male or female. And then she throws no strikes until 2/3 of the way through the match.
I agree with that.
You know,
I agree with that.
All she had to do was Aleister Black Dana, and she would have been huge in her debut.
Well,
and then you get
confidence in Dana to put her in there with Asuka in her first match.
She only has to be in there for 2 minutes.
Don't think they have the confidence in her anymore.
That's fine. Okay, there are people you can beat, local competitors you can beat. They can do the Nia Jax build, for God's sakes, because they had Nia beating local indie workers.
No, if they do a SmackDown versus Raw relay race, Dana Brooks making it on that team. Like, she's on that team.
I think they're making some of the mistakes that they made similar to Bayley in terms of, well, you know, I don't think good matches get you over until people care about your matches or care about you. And I think they need to make you care about Asuka first, because NXT, the percentage of people who watch that compared to the main roster, there's a vast chasm in there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know this. They have to reestablish her as a star of some variety. I don't think this did it. I don't think eking out a win against the number 7 woman on your Raw roster is necessarily the way to do that.
They may drop the ball on her completely. I don't have the confidence that they won't, but I don't think this is that bad. I mean, I had a lot of people saying that the vignettes that they aired portrayed her to be dominant. Like, what are they going to do? Show, like, Nikki Cross putting her, like, working Asuka's leg over in an Asuka vignette? No. Like, it's a bunch of highlights of that person kicking everybody's ass. It's not like, oh, remember the time that Peyton Royce kicked her in the face? No, they don't highlight that.
But they did more than that. They did more than just highlight her strong points. They did build her up in those vignettes as being this dominant force that no one can beat. And she does have the prestige behind her of that. She has the streak and she didn't lose the title.
The fact that she won doesn't matter, Sean. It's how you win.
She went 15 minutes with Emma on TakeOver. She never goes like less than 8 or 9 on TakeOver.
Look, I think Jeff brought up a good point in that there are a lot of people that don't watch NXT that don't know who and what who she is and what she can do. And I think I didn't have an issue with the pay-per-view match. I was also coming at it from, this woman is very special. They better not screw this up. And so I wasn't as worried about how they did that and the length and all that kind of stuff. But the rematch, I think, was completely unnecessary. And that's when they should have brought in the squash. And that's when they should have started that proper build. But now once again,
the rematch made the mistakes worse, because the rematch on commentary, as opposed to the first day's commentary where it was, oh, she's dominant, oh, Booker, you have to see her, oh, this, and then it just turned into something she likes to be entertaining, which is the death knell for anybody. Second night was all about
deal right there.
Oh yeah, I know. But second night was even worse because they were putting over Emma in Asuka's showcase match. Oh, look how well Emma's taking care of Asuka. Look how well she's doing against her. I'm like,
they should have. I mean, if they're going to portray Asuka as special, shouldn't it be special that Emma lasted that long against her?
And not if all you're talking about is how special Emma is about lasting that long.
Yeah, not if the majority of the audience don't understand why they're doing that.
She beat Emma in 4 minutes on Raw. That's like as long as Cameron lasted against Asuka.
Okay, but there were other matches in NXT where Asuka destroyed people before getting to the big matches. She destroyed both the
Liv Morgan and like Aaliyah and stuff. They've put a little bit into Emma leading up to this. They had her win a 5-way. They had her in the title match. She beat Mickie James, who's now contending for the title. Like, they put a little bit in her. She didn't get pinned in the tag match. Like, people act like she's out there losing every single week. Will she from here on out? Probably. But at least leading up to this, it wasn't like she was losing every single match, every single week. She was winning matches at least semi-regularly, as as a heel halfway down the card is going to be.
Well, she lost a match like what, 3 or 4 weeks ago on Raw. Sure. So I don't think that a good match is what gets you into that aura of I want to see this person again on your first debut, unless that match has stakes like a title match or a takeover like the Mickie James thing did for her career in order to get her back on the main roster. I think she needed something strong to that kind of that wow factor. This is entertainment. This part's entertainment, not wrestling. You're trying to build someone a personality that you want to see again. I didn't want to see Asuka again after struggling with Emma twice and basically eking out a win both times. I don't think that does a lot for Asuka's aura on this roster, to be honest with you. And into your same vein, I can't understand your rationalizing of the Finn Balor loss last night after I don't
care about Finn Balor.
AJ Styles. I just thought that was a waste of a win on Sunday. So,
sure, it was a waste of a win. It was a good match. I just don't care about Finn Balor. You're asking the wrong guy about Finn Balor. He's never done it for me. I mean, I get it. Some people like him. He can be over. I don't like their method of like, okay, we're going to go all in on Braun, maybe. So let's get this guy over. It is weird. It's counterproductive booking. I mean, the thing is, I don't mind. I think that Finn Balor is going to be just as over next week as he was last week. But it's not like I'm like, yeah, great idea. I don't care about Finn Balor.
Just to double back on the Asuka thing, a lot of my concern is because I thought Bayley as a character was surefire. All you had to do was book her like Cena.
I did too.
And she would have been, and this could have been really expansive. Asuka's one of those talents that has been built so strong on NXT. All you need to do is use that same kind of game plan, and this just wasn't it to me. It's I don't want to buy into conspiracy theories about NXT and the main roster, but it's almost as if they don't even watch that product to know what makes these people any good.
Yeah. I had somebody say, come on, people, Finn Balor wrestles like a cruiserweight. Finn Balor does not wrestle like a cruiserweight. He does a tope con hilo, and that's about it. He maybe the coup de grace. Other than that, he wrestles very little like a cruiserweight. But I will say, in the ring, he's been on a roll. I like the match with Kane. Like I said, I'm not like gung-ho, and that's a great idea. I don't think it's a great idea. I'm not emotionally invested in a Finn Balor. Anna, anything else to add to this crazy-ass week? Crazy-ass week. Also, I want to thank both of you for not being passed out drunk and then insisting to still do the show. That means a lot to me.
I've only done that once. Kidding.
It's usually the other co-host, right, Rob?
To answer your question and quickly move on from that, just on the Balor thing, it can be looked at in two ways in my mind. They want to keep Kane strong to put him with Braun. So Braun is obviously at the top of this food chain. And then you can either look at it as, well, Kane beat this guy who hasn't wrestled in a while, who's 50, and this is not his primary thing anymore, beat Finn Balor, who beat AJ Styles. So then that means in terms of the food chain, you just lost stock in AJ. Or you can look at it as the demon Finn Balor beat AJ. Therefore, it's not just Finn Balor who, regular average Joe Finn Balor lost to Kane. Then you lose stock in Finn Balor saying, well, he can only get the job done when he's the demon.
Which I expect Bray Wyatt to say.
Yeah, probably. But either way, it's just kind of like, I understand why you want to do this for Kane, but there has to be a better way to do this than just destroy your regular talent. I mean, once again, it goes back to the part-time thing, but also the dude's 50. He doesn't wrestle that much anymore.
Nobody in the world expects him to beat Braun Strowman. Nobody. So I don't think that a Finn Balor should be sacrificed, which I don't think he's sacrificed, but he was thrown out there to lose because of that. I don't. I don't. Also, I failed to mention New Day. They found raw fruit backstage on SmackDown and threw it in the trash can. Now, Jeff, I see you rubbing your eyes, but I think shots fired. I believe that was Jason Jordan's fruit. It was his produce.
No, Jason Jordan threw vegetables. It was a salad he threw.
He had a banana, too.
Oh, that's right.
He did.
Yeah, that was a little on the nose for the humor, huh?
Yeah. Anna, what'd you think of this?
I wouldn't be surprised if Big E just took a few of those home and put them down his pants and his little crotch pocket and saved
Rubbed
them
them all
later.
over Kofi tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's their magic juice. Oh, God. Let's move on.
Guys,
No, let's let that one sit a bit right there.
follow Jeff
Please,
at
let's move on.
Crap Game. What number? 13, 14?
13.
Hot damn. Tell him about Shake Them Ropes.
Rob is on a work rate roll. We've already done 3 podcasts this week on a week where he might have left.
Didn't he think he wasn't going to do it at all anymore?
Yes. That's exactly what we do 3 in 1 week. It's amazing, this man. You know, we're going to do another one where I'm going to argue more Asuka because he's wrong on that, much like Sean Ross Sapp is wrong on it.
Nah, that ain't happening.
And whatever else happens tomorrow that drops, we'll probably talk a lot about this invasion angle and the Raw aspect of it as well.
Anna, they can follow you at Anna Bauert. What you up to these
That's
days?
it. Still pending.
Still pending.
Still pending.
I like the
But
way you do
still
business.
pending. I just like to make sure.
You can follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. You can follow us at Fightful Online. We have breaking news all the time at Fightful.com. Exclusives all the time, especially on that MMA side these days. We are getting more than ever. Tons of interviews this week. We have coverage of the Anthony Joshua fight on Saturday. We have coverage of UFC Sao Paulo. We have an MMA podcast on Thursdays now. Of course, tune into The List and Your Boy on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. We've had great numbers for our podcast this week, including List and Your Boy last week up through the Breaking News show on Friday, the TLC show, the Raw show. And I've started to post occasional video news updates, like about Jeff Jarrett yesterday, talking about the William Regal advice today. So be on the lookout for those on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. Leave us a thumbs up. We are also on iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, a bunch of other stuff that I don't even know about. We are on. And we also have these forums that I keep urging you guys to check out. I love talking to you guys over there as well. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been a very busy week at Fightful.com. Go check out the site. Until next time, we're out.